Hey, welcome to a special edition of Bluejay Banter. Day 2 of the NCAA tournament preview show. We're live here at Let It Fly. Come on down. Watch all the games today. We had a great crowd in here yesterday, obviously, for the Creighton game. That was a pretty lively crowd, probably one of the more lively ones I've seen watching a Creighton game here. Yeah. And also, obviously, if you live out west, go out west to the Let It Fly out there. Tremendous setup, a different look to the bar compared to the one downtown. If you've been to the one downtown 4 games, but still awesome. So go down there. Should be a great day of hoops, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm Tim Kruger, along with my partner, Austin Chapman.
How's it going?
I'm going great.
Yes, sir.
You can't go into a bar very often and see Prices Right on the big screen.
No, that's,
Getting ready for the games. There we go.
Gearing up.
Well, I hope, thanks for joining on YouTube, for all you people on YouTube. Thank you very much. Make sure and hit that subscribe and like button. Pass the word along. It really helps us out a ton. If anybody out there said, oh, hey, I wanted to see that, then you can always go back and see all of our stuff on YouTube, including our post game yesterday after the Creighton big win over Louisville. And we will now be having a post game tomorrow evening. Boy, you nailed that.
Yes,
Austin nailed it. He said they're going to put it at the exact same time as the women's game. And sure enough. Well, you would think they'd have Arkansas St. John's. That's the game everybody wants to see. You would think, because middle of the afternoon on Saturday, bad ratings time. Bad ratings time. People are out doing stuff, It's only one standalone game. I'm shocked they didn't have that game in prime time. That being said,
is that not prime time, though?
In the middle of the afternoon?
6:25, right? In the game?
What, our game's at 6:15.
6:15?
Central. Yeah, pretty close prime. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the key game everybody was talking about, wants to see, is Arkansas St. John's.
Right.
And I'm saying I didn't understand why that game wasn't put. But I think they wanted it to be standalone, and at that 2:15 Eastern time.
That's nap time, though.
Yeah, I know. And plus,
that's
like my wife goes, hey, we've been kind of cooped up. Let's go do something Saturday afternoon. Will you miss it? I go, no, there's just single games, so it's not so bad. And I can catch them. And plus, she wants to go to the casino, so I can watch the games there.
Fair.
So we're just one small example, obviously, but people go out and do stuff. You know how it goes with a family.
Absolutely.
You got stuff going on.
Absolutely.
At night you can kind of settle in and watch games. So you would think they would have that game on at like 7:30 or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be standalone, because you can go to any channel you want to watch it. So I hear it. To me, I'm just saying, CBS, Turner. I'm just saying, to me, NCAA, I would have that game at night. But that's just me.
They just expect that, though. So of course they're trying to get more viewers. It would make sense, though, if that's a dead period, right?
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just going to inflate numbers.
That's why golf is on. So you can take a nap.
But you're not taking a nap watching. There's going to be no nap time on Saturday.
No, they don't like each other either.
Exactly.
So,
I like this. No, this is nice.
Anyway, we'll Creighton with the big win yesterday, by the way. So we're moving on, facing Auburn, who had no trouble in their game. A little bit of trouble, not much. Yeah. Not as much trouble St. John's had in that first half with Omaha.
Yeah.
But again,
was playing decent.
Again, it's the same old story as St. John's. They get off to those horrendous starts because everybody on that team thinks they can shoot threes and they can't. And everybody defends them the same way. And Patino calls timeout and goes, start driving it to the hole. And then they start driving to the hole and they just dominate people.
Plus, I just think they like to make people feel comfortable. It's kind of like part of their game plan.
Right?
Almost.
Because it's almost that.
You come out in the second half.
Last night was a little earlier, but normally it's about that 12 minutes to go in the game where they just take over. It seems like for the first 30 minutes they wore you down, and now they're going to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
But they were for the taking last night.
Yeah.
Omaha just couldn't throw it in the ocean.
Yeah, true.
True. And oh my God, how many offensive rebounds did Omaha get last night? Unbelievable.
They had a lot of energy. They were trying to kick a trash can.
If Creighton would have got those offense, they would have beat St. John's a couple of times this year.
Fair.
Those offensive rebounds. A great job by the Mavs, really, I think. They hung in there with them. They eventually got beat by 30, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Great finish to the Michigan San Diego game. San Diego came back.
Yes, sir.
They had a look to tie it.
Did you have San Diego or did you have Michigan?
I had Michigan.
Yeah.
I got Michigan going a long way in some fools.
Yeah.
So I did a radio gig with Syracuse. They have a pool on ESPN, and every year they're like, hey, get in our pool, because we're going to really push that. You're the brand. I go, I'm just telling you, I usually do terrible in it. So I had a radio interview this morning at 9:30, and there's so much going on, it totally spaced it. So he calls, and I'm like, could you give me 15? I know that's a big deal in radio. They go, no, we can do it. So I get on. He gets on the phone. He says, hey, Tim, you are leading our bracket.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, he didn't go on
you pay
ESPN.
A little attention, though.
Well,
you pay some attention to some hoops, man.
No, but his point was, does it frustrate you when the lady in the office who never watches college basketball does really well in the pool? I go, it used to, but it doesn't anymore because it happens all the time.
Especially now.
Okay. You got to hear this. This is so hilarious. I got to tell everybody this. I'm sorry. It's a personal story, but you'll love it. So, remember yesterday, we're going through the games, as we will in a few minutes. We got to Drake, Missouri. Both of us said, we think it could get ugly, Missouri, right? My sister and her husband are going up to Sioux Falls for a conference, okay?
Okay.
She's somehow watching our thing on YouTube. It must have popped up for, I don't know. Whatever.
I feel like this was
motivation. She is not a basketball fan at all. She's watching our deal. And I get a text from her. I'm like, after we were done, I see it. It says, hey, great podcast today. And I'm like, whoa, you never watched our podcast before. That's pretty cool. All right. Thanks, Val. Last night, get a text from her again. So she goes up to this conference. There's a lady who's a Drake fan. Okay. So she goes in and is talking to her, and we're all excited about the game tonight. Da, da, da. My sister goes, well, I have it on good authority. I think Missouri's going to win. And she goes, frankly, Missouri could beat you kind of bad. So I get a text from my sister late last night. She's like, thanks a lot. I've lost all credibility. I go, well, there you go. Believe in two schmucks like us.
Yeah, it's the tournament, man. Yeah. They did. They performed. I think we kind of didn't think they'd rise to occasion, and they did. They held them 33% from the field. That's pretty uncharacteristic. 17 turnovers too, which a Missouri Valley team was able to do
and
that.
I made the
that's
point.
More impressive.
I made the point to our bracketology group. I said, wow, this Missouri team is unrecognizable compared to, say, 2-3 weeks ago.
Right.
And one guy goes, oh, Tim, this is what Drake does. I go, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking in general, And they were unrecognizable.
Absolutely.
When I saw them play Florida. I saw them play another. They look like $1 million. Yep. I mean, I'm not. Hey, let's get to a couple. We got a couple chats already. N4, who's been a great listener all year long on our post games and on this chat today. So he's got a good one. I'll read a second one first. He said, if Kelsey thought he could prepare his team to take on the Jays by comparing them to Stanford and Cal, he let his guys down. I don't know if that's accurate or fair, but I understand where you're coming from. But here's his quote. He said, there's a quote from one of the Louisville players post game. I would say Creighton is nothing we haven't really seen. We've seen bigs to his caliber. Oh, that's where it comes from. Should have read this one first. We've seen bigs to his caliber. Stanford big and the physicality with Cal. Okay. You're talking two different worlds here, dude. That's Stanford and Cal.
I mean,
we're not very good. Wow.
That's just fine.
Here's the other thing, too. So that got me behind it. And I forgot I was going to take a video of that off my TV.
I have the foul. That was a foul.
Oh!
I'm going to the grave with that one. That was a foul.
You're so wrong.
I think Ash will tell you. Like I'm gonna get him to tell you. He's gonna be my partner. Actually, let's do that. I'm calling it today, and we'll be in the match. We'll have little GoPros in the car.
He's got a lot of family duties.
Plus, I've got two.
The only problem with him, it'll be hard because he could be off.
He'll be here.
Europe or whatever.
We're gonna figure this out.
Okay. All right. I don't care. I'd love to play that. I love him. All right. Anyway.
Foul.
We'll get back to that. Yeah, we probably hashed that today. But anyway, so I'm talking to bracketology, and then they're like, well, I said, I was just amazed at how much room they gave us, like the guards, okay? Like they were playing off them.
Well,
so then I watched the replay.
Tim, this is what I'm saying.
No. But versus UConn, St. John's up in our grill, right?
But I'm saying
with Ashworth.
But these are people that know us. But I'm saying generally, when somebody says Creighton, there's just no respect there, as you see with the media, right?
As you see with my bracketologist guys, and then they get mad. You're always defending. I go, because you guys are always throwing
more
smack
of a
at
respect
us.
thing.
But here's the thing.
It is.
So then I watched the halftime. I go, I want to see what Charles and those guys said. I didn't get to see yesterday. Kenny goes, I'm stunned at how far off they're playing. Like, they're letting Ashworth do whatever the hell he wants. Watch. And he showed like 5 highlights in a row. He goes, look, Ashworth's got no pressure on him. He can throw the lob here. He can shoot the 3. He can do whatever he wants.
Right.
He goes, you can't do that.
No.
And that was incredible. And then my bracketologist buddy said, they were going under screens in the first half. No, they weren't. I was like, what game did he watch? I watched. No, Chucky's trying to go over the top on screens, defending it like almost everybody does.
That in a way, but you could just tell it wasn't of like, I respect your shot, like.
No.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was like, to have that space, it was like, I'm going to give you this shot in a way and you beat us. And,
Great point. Great point, because there was a couple other plays I watched where there was a scramble situation. Like Jason Green just balled out and got the rebound. Okay. Now it's a scramble situation. Mac, he had drilled that into his teams every single year. You got to find somebody.
50-50.
And Creighton generally does. They just weren't finding 2 passes, and there's just McAndrews just standing there wide open in shooting practice, And then, Eric goes, the game turned. My buddies go, the game turned when Creighton hit those 4 really deep threes. I go, okay, there was 1 really deep 3, Ashworth. The other ones were a foot off the line. Those aren't deep. Those are shots we shoot all the time.
The ones that were turning were, Jemiah getting to that late shot clock.
Yeah, Jemiah
hit 3 or 4 of them. But not even that. It was those mid-range that he hit 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Again, I told those guys too. I go, the other thing about their defense, everybody in America knows Jemiah goes right.
It's hard to stop somebody that athletic.
But you have to have a plan. Okay, when he does that, if you're going to help it all to stop him once he starts scoring, okay.
But if
they had no plan, because you could see, because guys were just like, here comes Jemiah, and just totally leaving their man wide open.
I wouldn't say that. I think they had a plan. It's just so much that you have to account for. Because you could throw a lob. If you bring 2 guys, now you could throw the lob. Okay, you bring an extra guy. Now you got 2
this
shooters.
is when Kalk was on the strong side. So Jemiah's going, but the weak side guy was coming over. But like in the Big East, they would rotate. Like if that guy came over, the guard on this wing would rotate into the corner on whoever was out there. Like if it was Jason, they might say, okay, we're going to live with that.
Yep.
If it's McAndrew, no way. They're all over.
Yeah, but that's all predicated on the guy who's running the ship.
I know, but I'll tell you what.
Puts these guys where they should be.
Mac knew what they were going to do.
Exactly.
He's a great coach. He's a great coach.
Credit that to everybody, right? He's got a great staff, and they do a great job. We had Lucas on here day 1. And
it's great. I wish I'd have read it the right way. I wanted to, but that's a great line. If he thought we were playing Stanford and Cal, you're in trouble.
Yeah, Just in trouble.
I agree.
Really.
I agree.
I don't think you should ever take Mac lightly. Ever.
It was great to have Jimmy Jackson on when I was watching the replay, because he's like, look, I've watched Creighton a ton. McAndrew can knock that shot down.
Absolutely.
And then when it was like, the announcer's like, Kalkbrenner. He goes, no. Kalkbrenner hits a fair amount of those, man.
Absolutely. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Announcers and refs. So it was like, not only did we probably feel comfortable, as players, but made us feel good as fans.
My other buddy said, in the second half, they switched, which was not true. They weren't switching that much. They were hedging. They were hedging.
They were hedging a little harder.
And they got lucky they didn't get burned on it, but they got hedging. But I go, to my point, they gained 1 point on us in that stretch. We gave up 41 points in the second half, so it wasn't their offense that was crushing us. It was their defense was. We scored 40 in the second half. It wasn't like we got shut down. Anyway, all right. Hey, before we get to anything, I want to talk a little bit about a sponsor. Croker Group, thanks so much for sponsoring these and all our postseason stuff. So I really, really, really super appreciate it here at Bluejay Banter. They're a fiduciary firm which specializes in custom plans for clients, including, but not limited to, custom stock options, custom stock models, option strategies for hedging or covered calls for income, or triple tax exempt bond ladders for tax exposure. They truly have something which can help everyone in their financial wellness, and don't we all need help in these turbulent times? So they're the place to go, the Wealth Management and Insurance Solutions. That's Croker Group. Give them a call, 402-262-0999, and one of their fabulous associates will help you on your way to financial wellness. That's Croker Group. Okay, let's check out. We've talked enough about Creighton. So anyway, 6:15 tomorrow night, women game, same time. I know you're thinking, Tim, how are you going to work all this out? We're going to work it out. We'll have the post game. We're going to try and start the post game immediately after the men's game, and then I'll work it out with Glenn Siss, the assistant AD, who's with the women's team, as far as the post-game show for the women, because we normally have Flan on. We would do it all together, and maybe that's the way we'll have to go with it, which is fine. And I'll check with our sponsor, Katie over at RTI Threads, and we'll see if that works out the best. Then that's what we'll do. By the way, so I want to give a plug to RTI Threads. They've been really fabulous to us with all our events, especially our golf tournament, and they'll be sponsoring different things throughout the season here at Bluejay Banter. But go to their site today, RTI Threads. They're running a special on women's basketball gear, 35% off. What a great deal. So nice. Go there. Their prices are already great. So go there, check it out. That's RTI Threads. All right, here we go. I like this first game right off the tip at 11:15, Baylor, Mississippi State.
Yes, sir.
8-9 matchup.
Yep.
It intrigues me. People are kind of poo-pooing Mississippi State, but then Baylor, just to my knowledge, they got a 9 seed, and they should have probably been like an 11, okay? I mean, they barely got in the tournament.
Yep.
They've struggled all year. So
like
somebody I saw on Twitter this morning goes, hey, Mississippi State's a great team, except they can't shoot threes or defend threes.
They're just making a lot of twos then.
But they are a little, I wouldn't put them, they're maybe Texas A&M light a little bit, but great game there. Then you got a typical blowout game, Robert Morris versus Alabama. Lots of points to be scored in that one, just saying, for you people out there. 12:30, Lipscomb, Iowa State, a regional game that people are here interested in, a lot of Iowa State fans. So Lipscomb, Iowa State, I think Iowa State's a 14-point favorite. Lipsy's supposed to be ready to go. So that's going to help them out a ton.
Yeah, hopefully.
Here's a game, really, I think I'm so curious to watch, because this baby could go any way, shape, or form. That's Colorado State, Memphis.
I got Colorado
I think the general public is underrating Memphis.
Well, yeah.
And I think the public may be slightly overrating Colorado State for the recent run. However, because they're going to be facing different athletes than they faced in the Mountain West today. Okay?
You could say that.
I think so.
You could say that.
For the most part. Other than maybe San Diego State, but San Diego State wasn't very good offensively, where Memphis scored some points.
Yeah, but they've had some players there.
So this is going to be an interesting game. This was, of the early games, this is the one I'd really circle. Then we got a game, just don't even go there. Mount St. Mary's versus Duke. That's going to be an epic beatdown.
I mean, to take a look at Cooper, see how good he's moving.
True.
Right.
Very true. Very true. I would see. I heard several people say I would hold him out today if he's not 100%. Jay Wright came back though and said, I would actually play him because I want to get him out there, get him loose,
get him moving.
Know how the recovery is going to go tomorrow.
I was like, I could see load management, but something like this.
Jay Wright for you.
Something like this, right, you need a little bit of.
By the way, just saying, Big East is 3-0. Big Ten undefeated too.
I got another Big East win today for our boys.
We'll get to that.
I know we're going to get to that. Yeah, I know I'm excited for that one.
So mark it down. New Mexico's going to win. All right.
Okay.
2:15. A very intriguing game. This next group, these next two are very intriguing to me. Number one, 2:15. Vanderbilt, St. Mary's. I'm leaning St. Mary's, but I could see Vanderbilt winning that game.
Yeah, I think I got St. Mary's actually.
Yeah.
On mine.
And then I think the nation's kind of looking at this and kind of getting enamored with this team, and that's North Carolina. barely got in. Controversial pick to get in. They just blow the doors off San Diego. So now everybody's saying San Diego State. So now everybody's like, oh, okay.
I get it.
They play a good Ole Miss team. And, man, Beard's their coach. Beard's got a really good record in the NCAA tournament.
Well.
So this is going to be the clash of team on a roll versus a coach who's with a very good team out of the SEC. This is going to be – we're going to learn a lot about both teams today.
That's fair.
You know, I like that matchup. 3:35 to end off the afternoon slate, Grand Canyon versus Maryland. I like Maryland a lot, but holy cow, this smoke that's going up about Willard going to Villanova I thought was just bunk. But then I watched his pre-game press conference yesterday. Whoa, that guy's gone. I mean, he came off and goes, so some guy goes, hey, your name's out there. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, look, my agent's been dealing with the AD of Maryland, and I've talked to him, and because he hasn't signed a contract apparently. And then he's like, but here's the deal. A lot of stuff has to change. And he goes off into all this stuff that he needs. He goes, we are bottom of NIL, which I did not know for Maryland. I would think, Maryland, that's a hotbed of basketball right in their era.
Yeah,
you would think they would
Under Armour in your backyard.
Yeah. And then plus you got football, right? So you would think that, great, and then but they're getting money. They're getting checks.
Somewhat, yeah.
And then he also brought up a point where they were in New York for a game, and he just wanted to keep the kids there for Christmas, one more day, to celebrate Christmas there.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
And they said, no, you can't. We don't have the money for that.
Oh. So it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I got you.
He's just like, man, we don't have enough money to have one more hotel string in. I kind of get it if you're pinching pennies. I mean, what are you talking? You're talking 10, 15,000, right?
It's hearsay, but we don't know the truth on that.
How many rooms you gotta have?
Maybe they don't. Maybe it was.
You got to have,
who knows?
For staff and everything, you got to have 10, 12 rooms in New York at Christmas time. That's $300 a shot, plus feeding everybody, plus things you're going to do. I mean, starts adding up.
I mean.
All right. Anyway, enough of that. Nighttime, another game. This could be an epic blowout, Norfolk State versus Florida. Troy, Kentucky, that game's at 6:10. I don't know. I lean heavily toward Kentucky, but I could see them struggling. Yeah, this would be one to tune in on. But then there's a game that Austin and I really like, the 6:25 matchup, New Mexico versus Marquette.
Yep.
We love Marquette. I just hope they're the Marquette of 3 weeks ago, not the Marquette recently.
It would help.
If they're the Marquette of 3 weeks ago, this is going to be a great test for them right off the get-go, though, because, man, New Mexico puts you in a blender once in a while on offense, man, and they've got dudes, and they like to push it. So this is a perfect game for Marquette to get their mojo going and get the blood flowing. Akron, Arizona at 6:35. I don't know about that one. I think that's going to be one-sided. All right, 8:25, Oklahoma and UConn. I'm sorry. That 2 weeks ago, Oklahoma wasn't making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I just think Caravan's going to be a different Caravan. He's a factor.
Seriously,
for me.
a couple of my brackets, I had UConn beating Florida. I could see that.
I got
happening.
UConn doing some things, but I think they're going to reach their point. But that next one is what I'm excited about.
Xavier, Illinois. Here's the deal, folks.
About this one, man.
If you like points, if you like scoring, this is your game.
I'm tuned into this one.
This is your game. This is going to be up and down shots, jacked up. Xavier doesn't play very good defense. Illinois is pretty sketchy on defense. Illinois has been up and down all year. The only thing that worries me is that they will be able to lock down Xavier enough to come away with a win. But I'm going to watch. You got to watch Illinois. If you haven't seen Illinois has got two terrific players.
Oh,
Their point guard, and who's that freshman? That dude can ball, man. He's only about 180 pounds, string bean, but he can play.
No, I got the Musketeers there, baby. Yep.
Bryant versus Michigan State, no contest there. And then some people calling this an upset. I'm sorry. I'm not going against Dana Altman. Not in the NCAA tournament.
You can't.
Nope.
You can't.
Nope. And they're back. They've got their mojo back.
Yeah.
So I like who of all these upset of all the higher seed, what's the one game today upset? Would you
I'm going Colorado State.
Colorado State?
Yes, sir.
That's a very good pick. I think it's going to be a tight game. I would say Xavier for me. Well,
I don't know if that's an upset for me.
11-6,
but I'm
I know.
I'm definitely taking them though, for sure. But Colorado State higher, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one too. Well, there's 3 tough ones.
But
Colorado
Xavier
State,
for
Memphis,
sure. New
UNC,
Mexico,
Ole Miss.
New Mexico, I guess.
You're going to take them over Marquette?
Oh yeah,
I thought you liked Marquette.
I do like Marquette, but something tells me New Mexico is going to do this.
So the Big East team you were talking about was Xavier.
Yeah.
Oh, I had you read wrong. I thought you were talking about Marquette.
No, I was talking about Xavier.
So you think Marquette's going to win that game?
I don't. I have New Mexico.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
Again, a game if you like points.
Well,
It's gonna be points.
Yeah, I'm a Lobo fan for that.
We're gonna get off here because we know you all want to watch basketball. We want to watch basketball. Isn't it great to win your first game? Early game yesterday. Now you just sit back, watch games,
Relax.
and now we can, we don't have to worry about games till 6 o'clock tomorrow night, where we got the men and women going at the same time. Get 2 TV sets out there, whatever. Make sure you're watching both, or come down here to Let Fly. You can watch them all. All right. Thanks to Croker Group again for sponsoring us. Really appreciate it. We will be back if the women win and it doesn't conflict with their game. We'll be back with a Bluejay Banter episode on Monday. If it does conflict with the game, we will not have Bluejay Banter. Hopefully, we will be. But before that, we'll be back with post games on Saturday night, tomorrow night, after both games. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and go Jays.